Welcome. If it's the first time, welcome back. If you've seen some of the other videos that we have on YouTube and through Facebook and some of the other social media that we use, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to start designing from a process that a lot of people never see, and that is that we're going to start from the beginning. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a very unique halo ring design, an engagement ring design from the bottom up. When you go out to the internet or you go into a jewelry store, you basically see finished goods. What I'd like to do is just take that a little further and start from scratch to kind of give you a bird's eye view of what goes into that process from the ground up. And I will cover as much of the different aspects that we have in building this halo design. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and start. And what we'll do is we'll start first of all with a simple shank or a ring, basically the basic ring style. This ring style is called a cathedral. And the reason why it's a cathedral is because it kind of comes up a little higher instead of a round look and then having a stone set on top of that. This actually arcs up. The nice thing about this is that it really does showcase the center stone, whether it's a gemstone or it's a center diamond. But this allows for the lift, as we call it, on a finger so that you get more attention. It's just a little bit more eye appealing. So I'm going to stay with the cathedral look. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to also, because as we start to add this halo and some other things, it's going to get a little top heavy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide another type of shank that stabilizes it on the bottom, because it actually acts as an anchor or a counterweight that helps support the top heaviness of the halo and the diamond. So, and it's called a Euro shank or a European shank, and it really does help stabilize on a finger, unless you have a very, very large knuckle. And as we get older, we sometimes will have larger knuckles and a smaller inside finger where it actually is worn. And with that, you need other types of contraptions to be able to make it work. But this will help stabilize it somewhat. And it also looks very, very, very nice as a fashion accent. So with this, I'm going to start now building the top halo. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in the gemstone. Now we can do many types of gemstones. This is just one. This is called a cushion cut. We can always go with the one that's always being used. It's usually in the biggest demand, which is the round. Of course, you can do a halo. You can do what we call an asher, which kind of a squared up, looks more of a squatty emerald cut. It's kind of a squared emerald cut. And definitely use the emerald cut look. And then everybody's favorite, which is the princess cut. But for now, for this exercise, I'm going to go ahead and just stay with the round stone, because I think it looks the most appealing, especially with the halos. And from here, I'm going to start to develop the halo underneath this. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to go ahead and bring up a very small brown accent, which is the halo. And from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start looking at this to determine whether those stones really do balance real well with that stone. And really, from the eye, they don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start lifting the size of the surround diamonds, or this diamonds in the halo, to something a little bit bigger. And I'm going to continue to do this until I feel that it has a nice balance or a nice accent against the center stone. That might still be a little bit too small. Let's keep going. Let's see how this looks. We're getting better. I like to make it look a little fuller. Tongue-tied. And now we're getting somewhere. So I'm going to make it just a little bit thicker. And I think that's going to be a good size. So that's going to be our diamond halo, or diamond surround, as many call it. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to now figure out a setting that's going to attach this center stone onto the halo. And what I'm going to do is put up some prongs. Now the prongs can be something very basic, such as something in a kind of a rounded look or a partial rounded look. That's kind of nice. It's got a little bit of a fluted look on the sides. Anything to kind of decorate the prongs a little bit more instead of them just being a round cylinder. This is a little bit more domed on the top, still with that fluted look. We can also go a little bit more blunt. This looks a little too thick. Doesn't really go with the delicateness of the halo. My favorite is the heart-shaped design with an inward point. I really like that because I just think that it's very delicate and it lends itself nice with a nice termination point into the inside where it's holding the stone. So I'm going to leave it as that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to now create some undercarriage work to hold this halo in place. Right now it's just not going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put what we call a scroll insert. Now I've actually turned this to be another color, but I could go with the same color, and that's what I'm going to do. And that insert will hold up and support the inside as well as supporting the side cathedral settings. As things are getting built, it's just very important that you also take into account the wearability issues that can happen, because you are going to be wearing this hopefully for the rest of your lives, and you want it to hold up quite well. And so anything that we add is going to add support, stability to the overall ring. With that being said, it's important that when you take that into consideration, you also take into consideration of how it looks. Is it too much? Is it too masculine? Is it too broad? That's where the eye comes in, and that's where playing these what-if scenarios helps a lot. So from here, what I'd like to do now is to add some more diamond accent. Now, this looks great just the way it is. We have a diamond halo holding a center diamond with a high-polished cathedral ring with the European bottom. That's very elegant, very, very elegant. And what you could do is you can add a wedding band that will actually be something that can be put on here as an accent, either in a diamond look or also a high polished. And that's also the same thing that we can do with two of them to make it more balanced. You can see how elegant that really looks. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically take this and add more gemstones onto this. And the way we do that is we're going to add stones down the sides. Now this actually makes the halo look a little fuller. And the trick about doing accent diamonds down each side is to do it so that it's a little bit past 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Sometimes in doing the accents, it's really important that you don't do it too shallow. And what I'm going to do is show you that. Sometimes if you end up being a little bit too shallow, it's really just kind of an afterthought. It does look nice, but it doesn't carry through down here. So when you're wearing it, you're going to see a little bit of high polished metal. Some people like that. Most people really like the full look. Now the full look doesn't have to go all the way down, but you could trick the eye by bringing it either 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, or just a couple of more down the sides to kind of give it that look that when you're wearing it, it looks like it's going all the way down to the bottom. This is another nice look also, but like I said, some of these on the bottom will probably not get looked at because of the way that your finger is positioned and how your other fingers are real close to the shank. So I'm going to bring that up just a little bit. Just have it just a little bit down, maybe just a little bit more. There we go. So I'm going to leave it like that. So that's kind of a nice look. Now the next thing, to kind of really give it a pop, or to give it its own unique style, I always like to look at this rings when I'm building them, and I always like to try to put something that's really going to give it another look, so that when you're looking at it, there is another place that catches the person that is looking at its attention. In the old days, it used to be that you look at a top-down view from a ring. That's basically where everything was actually set on. Nowadays, you got a lot of decorative style that can be put on here. It could be engraving. It could be this insert that we've done. It could be a lot of other scroll elements that can be put on here. Just a lot of other things that can be done. But what I did is I put another halo into the area to give it that unique look. Now this is a part of the halo, and what I did is I created a scroll design that is attached to the bottom part of the halo, and then what I did is I ran another halo right below it, and this halo is actually having stones that are strictly from the side view, not from the top view. That way when you have it on, you'll be able to see how it looks. In fact, I'm going to put a finger up here to show you how it really kind of sits up, and how you can really see that undercarriage style that really kind of completes this piece. The smaller diamonds accent well against the cathedral shank, and the top accents well against the undercarriage scroll, and also the double halo. So with that, I'm going to go ahead now and complete this. So I'm going to pause it. Don't go anywhere, and I'll show you the finished design. So don't go nowhere. Okay, I'm back, and this is the finished product. I added a little bit more of a rose color insert to kind of give it color, and that's the finished piece. Thanks for watching.